CBS News confirmed executive editor Rhona Tarrant joins us here in Studio 57 to fact check some of last night's address. So we did hear Rhona, President Trump say that under former President Biden, the U.S. suffered the worst inflation in almost 50 years, quote, perhaps even ever, end quote. What does the data show?
So this is something President Trump says a lot. Now, half of this is true, half of it's not. It is true that under former President Joe Biden, inflation peaked at over 9% in June 2022. Now, this was the highest in about 40 years, not quite 48, but in about 40 years. But it wasn't the highest ever. So if you look back to periods in the 1970s, 1980, for example, inflation was much higher. For example, if you look at 1980, it was up as high as over 14%. It also remained higher for longer amounts of time during the 1970s and 80s as well. So it is true that it was definitely the highest in about 40 years, but not the highest ever.
Okay, and President Trump also touted ending what he calls Biden's electric vehicle mandate. He says he ended the Green New Deal. We know that legislation was never enacted for that. Can you clarify these claims for us?
So under the Biden administration, the EPA released these new tailpipe emissions standards. So for vehicles from 2027 onwards, there was, stricter standards for emissions. Now, Republicans had criticized this. They claimed that it was an electric vehicle mandate. It wasn't a mandate as such, but they did increase standards, for example. But that included, for example, like hybrid cars can be included in that, regular cars can be included in that. So it wasn't a mandate. It is worth also pointing out that on Trump's first day back in office, he did sign an executive order saying that he had ended this. So they're rolling back those rules.
Rhona Tarrant, thank you.